Okay, so now we're going to talk about solving radical equations. So a radical equation is an equation with one or more radicals containing a variable. If you recall, the nth root of x taken to the nth power is equal to x. For instance, if I have the square root of x is equal to 2, well, I can square both sides. Remember the index is 2 here, and x is equal to 4. Or I could take the cube root of x is equal to -5. Because the index is 3, I would cube both sides. And here x is equal to -125. Again, both of those are very easy to check, as the square root of 4 is equal to 2, and the cube root of -125 is indeed -5. All right, so I want to solve the following radical equations. Now, keep in mind you want to get the radical by itself, so I can use the property from above. So, taking a look at the top left example, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, divide by 3, and then I'm going to square both sides. Once I do that, I'm going to add 4, and y is equal to 13. Now, let's go back and plug that into the original. So 13 minus 4 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Times 3 is 9. Minus 2 does equal 7. So y equal to 13 is a solution. Okay, now let's take a look at the top right example. We have the cube root of 2y minus 5 is equal to the cube root of 4y plus 1. So again, because the indices are the same on both sides, I can now cube both sides. So 2y minus 5 is equal to 4y plus 1. Subtract 4y, add 5, and then divide by -2. So here I get y equal to -3. Now again, let's go back to the original equation and check to make sure that that is a solution. So 2 times a -3 is -6, minus 5 is -11. So that's a cube root of -11, which is indeed a real number. And 4 times a -3 is -12, plus 1 is -11. So the cube root of -11 does equal the cube root of -11. Y equal to -3 is a solution. Now, let's take a look at the other two examples here. So, on the top left, then, I want to get the square root by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 5. Now, I want to square both sides. Now, on the left-hand side, that's going to be x plus 1. On the right, x minus 5 squared is x minus 5 times x minus 5. And we can FOIL that very quickly. And that gives us x squared minus 10x plus 25. Now, this is a quadratic equation. I'm going to set the quadratic equation equal to 0. So again, I'm going to move over the x and the 1. So now I get to see if I can factor it. Are there factors of 24 that add up to be -11? In this case, there is. It's -3 and -8. Set each factor that contains a variable equal to 0. So we have x equal to 3 and x equal to 8. Let's check to make sure that both of these are solutions. When I plug in 3 plus 1, that's 4, plus 5, So that's 2 plus 5. That does not equal 3. So we know x equal to 3 is not a solution here. Now, let's check x equal to 8. So 8 plus 1, that's 9. Square root of 9 is 3 plus 5. That is 8. So my solution here is 8. Okay, so now the last example. Notice you have two separate terms that have square roots. So I know this is going to be a little bit more involved. But again, the same idea to begin with. We want to get a square root by itself. So I'm going to add the square root of x minus 2 to both sides. So then from here, I'm going to square both sides. It's on the left side, very easy to do. That's 3x minus 2. On the right, though, I will expand this out so that you see that we are multiplying a binomial times a binomial. So that's 4 plus 2 times the square root of x minus 2 plus 2 times square root of x minus 2 plus x minus 2. Combine like terms. So 4 minus 2, that's 2, plus 4 times the square root of x minus 2 plus x. Now remember, the goal is to get the absolute value by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 2. And subtract the x. Now, I could divide both sides by 4, but it'd be a fraction on the other side. So what I'm going to decide to do at this particular stage is to square both sides right now, even though the 4 is already with the radical. But you can square 4 very easily. That's 4 squared is 16. Square root of x minus 2 times square root of x minus 2 is just x minus 2. So 2x minus 4 squared is 4x squared minus 8x plus 16. Distribute the 16. Now, this is a quadratic equation, so I'm going to set the quadratic equation equal to 0. So I'm going to bring the 16x over, and I'm going to bring the 32 over. Every single term I can divide out of 4. And factor. Okay, so right now I have two solutions, x equal to 6 and x equal to 2. Let's now check x equal to 6. Again, I'm going to have to scroll back up. So 3 times 6 is 18 minus 2 is 16. 6 minus 2 is 4. X equal to 6 is a solution. Now we need to check 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2, that's 4. 2 minus 2 is 0. Both are solutions, so I can write. It is very important, though, to check your solutions to make sure that they work.